We are back on the campus of Northern Illinois University at Husky Stadium for the beginning of a nice and intriguing 3A matchup between IC Catholic and Pleasant Plains. It's been some outstanding football that we've seen in Class 1A and 2A. Lena Winslow putting off a state championship in 1A, and also GCMS pulling off their first ever state championship in Class 2A. And Edgy, we have an outstanding matchup that we will see Pleasant Plains, a 16 seed, facing off the defending state champs in IC Catholic. And I'm sure Pleasant Plains, they want to get off to a good start.
They do. You want to get the nerves out. You want to get all the nervousness out. And you're a 16 seed. You made all this trip. You might as well just show up and beat the top champs in 3A.
Wait, why not? You might as well do it, right? All right, let's throw it upstairs to our broadcast partners who will be calling the game. That's Dave Bernhardt and Chris Hyland. Guys?
Well, thank you very much, Cameron. Happy to be here. And for IC Catholic, they're happy to be back. The defending state champs back here playing in the state title game once again. And as you mentioned, Pleasant Plains, a 16th seed. They did not even make the playoffs last year. So, Chris, here's a team, one, we expected to be here. The other, they've surprised us.
And both these teams have fought through a lot of adversity to get to this point. IC Catholic has had some injuries. Pleasant Plains has played that underdog role throughout the playoffs. Both teams going to lay it all on the line today for a state title. Should be a lot of fun.
But for the Cardinals and Plains, it's Nick Sampson. He does it all.
You're right. Nick Sampson kind of carries this offense. You see the stats there, 253 carries, 1,400 yards. He is a special talent. The offense is going to revolve around him for the Cardinals today.
And on the other side, last year we talked about Jordan Rowell for IC Catholic, but this year it's all about Lazarick Eatman.
You're right, and he does it all. 9 touchdowns receiving, 19 touchdowns rushing, 1,200 yards. He is an exciting back.
So it's IC Catholic looking to defend their 3A title. Pleasant Plains, they just won their second playoff game in school history earlier this year. They're playing for that trophy, and your 3A championship game is coming up next. The 2017 IHSA Football State Finals are brought to you by Country Financial. Take simple steps today at countryfinancial.com/simple steps. And by Biaggi's, where carry-out and curbside pickup make it easy to enjoy the great taste of Biaggi's at home. Visit Biaggi's online at biaggi's.com.
That's a great look at Tent City, where each school competing from Class 1A through 4A in today's state championship games owns a tent where they can go in, get some good food, maybe a little warm air, and then get ready for their ball game. All right, Cameron Smith alongside Edgy Tim of NBC Sports, Chicago, and Edgy Pleasant Plains, IC Catholic, a 16 seed against the defending state champions. For Pleasant Plains, I'm sure offensively they've been balanced all year long, and they want to continue that offensive balance to try and get a win tonight.
Yeah, we talked about Nick Sampson. Don't forget Ben Reiner, quarterback, thrown over 2,000 yards, and to keep this IC defense kind of off balance, you're going to need to mix it up well offensively if you're Pleasant Plains.
And IC Catholic, they want to make sure that they are continuing what they've been doing that's brought them success. Going back to last year, again, the defending 3A state champs, and I'm sure they want to try and challenge Pleasant Plains early on.
Oh, it's rock'em sock'em robots. I'm treating you like a 16 seed if I'm IC. I'm coming out throwing the haymaker right out of the gate,
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great matchup between Pleasant Plains and IC Catholic. The 3A State Football Championship coming up next. We will have a kickoff. That young lady is ready. We're ready. So tune in for a great one.
Great to have you with us in DeKalb and Northern Illinois University. It is 3A championship football action coming to you from Husky Stadium. Pleasant Plains and IC Catholic Prep. For Plains, big win that first round against top-seeded Westland, and then a couple of tight ones. That overtime win over Carlinville. Carlinville, the runner-up last year before taking apart Anna Jonesboro in the semifinals. For IC Catholic Prep, big points all around. Now that second game that IC Catholic Prep will have played, that against Piatone, that was in the mud, as was that 7-0 win against Byron. And how about that win against Byron? It took a touchdown run by C.J. West with 23 seconds left to get them here to the state championship game once again. Defending state champs last year defeated Carlinville 43-0, a 12-1 record. IC Catholic looking for their 4th state championship. They already picked up ones in 2002, 2008, and 2016. And for Pleasant Plains, they were looking for playoff wins. Only one playoff win prior to this season. Pleasant Plains won the toss, and the Cardinals said, we want the ball. They want to keep the ball out of the hands of this potent offense for IC Catholic Prep. And we will start from the 20-yard line. Cardinals this year averaging 33 points per game. Rush for 159. They pass for 170. Good balance on their offensive unit. Their quarterback is Ben Reinert. He is a record-setting quarterback, and he'll go against a defense that's allowed only 10 points per game. There is Reinert, those 2,114 yards, the school record for Plains, a school that has only been playing football for 15 years. Reinert to Keith. And a loss of 2 on the first play of the game. Number 65, Heman Reese, in on the stop. And here is a look at your offensive unit for Pleasant Plains. In addition to Reinert, you have Nick Sampson. He averages over 100 yards per game. Keep an eye on number 7, Kai Karlberg. He does it all for the Cardinals. Offensive line, a couple of two-way players, Ethan Inkenbrandt and Nathan Curry. And they'll be faced with a 2nd down and 11. IC Catholic defense only allowing 94 yards rushing per game. To the air. And the first down, just like that, they'll go to Tristan Tavis. Defensively for IC Catholic Prep. Now, this was a young team last year. It's young again this year. There's only 3 seniors on this defense. Lazarick Eatman goes both ways. Keep an eye on number 13, Collie Saunders, 6'3", 250-pounder. And in the interior of that defensive line, a couple of 275-pounders, Kobe Reed and Ricky Misselwick. That pass completion to Tavis, his 30th reception of the year, came in with 568 yards. And there you go. There's a good teammate for you, Chris. Tie my shoe, please.
Those big guys don't like to tie those shoes if they don't have to. Have one of those smaller guys get down there and do it for you.
Well, number 44 there, Kevin Cook. He does it all on defense. I didn't realize that was part of the resume as well. First down for the Cardinals, just underway here in DeKalb. Reinert, play action. It will be 2nd down. Once again, he was looking for Tavis.
For all the talk of Nick Sampson early on in the game, they've attempted 2 straight passes. They obviously want to get that passing game going early on here, try and get IC Catholic on their heels maybe a little bit, and then start to pound the ball between the tackles.
And this is an offense that will distribute the ball around. They have a quarterback, Reinert, who can be mobile in the pocket. Plains coming in 10-3. They lost 3 of their first 5 games this year. Play clock is down to 4 seconds. I don't know if Reinert sees it. He'll get it off, and here is Sampson. Nick Sampson thought he had a little bit of room there, but Keeman Reese, 5'10", 190-pound junior, thought otherwise. For Pleasant Plains, out of Sangamon County, in the Sangamo Conference, a conference that the Cardinals finished 4th in this year. And it is a proud bunch of folks from Pleasant Plains. This is a school that has already won 2 baseball titles, along with 2 basketball state championships. Ride the hip of Sampson. He's going to break through. Another first down. 2 first downs early in this drive for Plains. Big holes on the left side of the line. Carter Wieters, Ethan Inkenbrandt.
And that's Kai Karlberg actually taking the snap. He does a nice job of reading the defense. It's a zone read option. Knows when to give the ball up and does a great job. Pleasant Plains moves the change. This is an ideal start for the Cardinals.
So they've mixed it up a little bit with Karlberg. Nothing unusual. He will run out of the Wildcat. And a little option there. Reinert back in now. And more play action. And another completion to Tavis and across midfield. Well, head coach Brody Walworth has his offense clicking.
Off the play action, I tell you what, he avoids pressure so well, does Ben Reinert, and you can see he can throw on the run really well. Tavis comes across the formation. That's a good tackle right there in space. to try and limit the yardage that Tavis can get after the catch.
Sampson in the backfield behind Reinert. Ben Reinert, 5'10", 165-pound senior. First-year starter for Plains. Quickly, it comes to Carlberg. Positive yardage for the Cardinals. This is something, Chris, that Pleasant Plains was going to draw it up. They want to see that clock tick, tick, tick as long as they can.
You're exactly right. Your best defense can sometimes be your offense against a team like IC Catholic. You want to try and keep their offense off the field as long as you can. And you see the numbers there for Kai Carlberg. As you've said, Dave does it all for this Cardinals offense.
Ben Reinert, 3 of 4 here on this opening drive, throwing the ball. A couple of them have gone to Tavis. Looking that way. And this will be stopped very quickly. That time he got it out to Kevin Ingram for his 29th reception of the season. Pleasant Plains took on Anna Jonesboro. Anna Jonesboro came in as the 3rd seed in the southern part of the bracket. Only a safety, but it was Nick Sampson. This was one of his 3 touchdowns en route to a 209-yard rushing day, 318 yards on the ground for the Cardinals in the semis.
It was pretty impressive what Pleasant Plains was able to do to Anna Jonesboro last weekend in such tough conditions all across the state.
Reinert now 4 of 5. Great tackle coming up strong is Kylie Sanders, 6'3", 250-pound, 15-pound junior. You'll hear about his brother Khalil Saunders, 5'11", 185, and a junior. Now it's a 4th down and 10 to go for Plains.
Pleasant Plains has a decision to make. It looks like Kai Carlberg, who can do everything, is going to line up in what appears to be a little bit of a wildcat formation, but from about 8 yards. Don't be surprised if he punts it away. Gives him a lot of options on a 4th and 10 like this.
He'll be kicking into a fairly strong wind. A little rugby-style kick. We'll tell you why he does it that way. And that'll work inside the 10-yard line. So if you're Pleasant Plains, you're happy, you move the ball. If you're IC Catholic Prep, you are happy because you stopped when you had to. On this stop, Kylie Saunders. .57 degrees and clear here at game time of your 3A championship ball game, and it's now time for the Knights from IC Catholic to take over. They'll have to start from their own 7-yard line. Quarterback is C.J. West. This is Lazarick Eatman. And Eatman plows forward. He'll get across the 20-yard line.
Eatman is such a talented back, and with those 5 up there, look at that hole that he's got to run through. I mean, when you can open holes like that, anybody can run through them, and Lazarick Eatman is off to a hot start.
16 yards on his first carry. That one not as much on 2nd down. It will be 2nd and about 8.
Plays like that are going to be crucial for Pleasant Plains to try and stop the momentum of IC Catholic. You see the numbers there for C.J. West, who's actually came into the season as their 3rd-string quarterback.
Right, Luke Rickabine, you remember last year he quarterbacked this team to a state championship. ACL injury in the 2nd week of the season. They went to West as the 3rd-string choice, and he'll get it out. The pass completion will go to Jacob Litton. The offensive, we already have seen Lazarick Eatman along with C.J. West. You've got the twins, Khalil and Kylie Saunders. Jacob Litton got that carry. You also see Andrew Faldudo in this spread offense, and the offensive front, Ricky Misselwick. Anchors it on the right side, 275 pounds, and in the guard spot, Dylan Packer. He's an all-stater. To the near side of the field. Big time stop. It was Ethan Inkenbrandt. It got a hold of the running back Lazarick Eatman, and he will be short of the 1st down.
You talked about that big left side of the Knights offensive line. They run behind that left side, but a nice job there coming up, filling the hole for Pleasant Plains, forcing 4th and short.
West will kick it away. Nobody deep for Plains. And a good enough roll, and the Cardinals will have to start from their 15-yard line. So we've seen the punting game here change field position a little bit. Last time that Pleasant Plains had the ball, they drove it from the 20-yard line, but now they'll have to work after that 52-yard punt from C.J. West. Well, we saw the Cardinals mix it up a little bit offensively on that first possession, and this is always the crucial time, right? Brody Walworth, does he stay with it in his 4th season here at Pleasant Plains? And on the other side, Bill Kreft. How about the defense? What adjustment do we make after seeing about 4, 5, 6 plays? There's Bill Kreft, a state championship in his back pocket. Back to a state championship as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a head coach at IC Catholic. To the near side. And that is a hard-earned 3 yards from Sampson.
It was very evident on the first drive what Pleasant Plains wanted to do to kind of establish themselves on offense. You saw guys like Tavis and Carlberg and Nick Sampson have the ball in their hands. They're going to try and spread it out a little bit to try and keep the IC defense on their heels. But, you know, that's their workhorse right there. 44, Nick Sampson. You're going to see him carry the ball a lot.
Passing situation, Ben Reinert, 5 of 6 already here in the first half of this first quarter. Go up in the air again. It gets it to Carlberg, a gain of about 5, maybe 6. But high percentage passing here from Reinert.
That's such a tough throw for a high school quarterback to make to the opposite sideline from the far hash. Reinert did a great job there, stepping into this throw, looks right, then decides to go left and puts it right on the money. Makes it a more 3rd and manageable for the Cardinals.
They will need about 3 yards.
And you see Reinert there going to split out again. It's going to be Carlberg who takes the snap. Sampson's going to be to his right.
Once again, giving it to Sampson, and that strength that gets the first down. He was hit early again. It's Heman Reese in on the tackle, getting a little bit of assistance there from Khalil Saunders.
Pleasant Plains is really spreading out this IC Catholic defense, as you see there. Tavis and also that's Zach Ely down the field making good blocks, giving Nick Sampson enough room for the first down.
It's already the 4th first down in this quarter for Plains. I don't think there were a lot of folks that expected this here in the first 7 minutes. Looking left. And another completion. Reinert has only misfired on 1 pass. He's getting him in chunks of 5 and 6, and he does get it to Zach Ely. Ely with his 19th catch of the year.
And just like on the first drive, the Knights defense is more than happy to give up 5 or 6. You got to come up, you got to make good tackles like that. You see the gang tackling there by IC Catholic. Max Cook, the 5'9" sophomore, is the first one there, and then his buddies come clean it up. They're more than happy to give him 5 yards a chunk. It's a bend but don't break kind of defense. We saw it on the first drive, and they're doing it here again.
How about spreading this offense around? 4 different receivers have been part of those 7 completions for Reinert. On the ground in the near side. Short gain, but a different look. This time it's Ely again on the carry, or make that Carlberg on the carry here in the near side.
Pleasant Plains showed out of that formation when they run that fly sweep on film that's their favorite play. They're gonna when they run that fly sweep, they're gonna give it to Carlberg and try and get him to the outside. But this IC Catholic defense is so fast. They run from sideline to sideline so well that's a tough play to break against these Knights.
Looking for 3 yards and a first down. Oh, I don't know if that was the intended receiver, but it's going to work. The completion to Kevin Ingram. Nick Sampson was the short man. 7-yard pickup and a first down.
As soon as Sampson jumps and doesn't come down with this, I think this is going to be an incomplete pass. I don't know who Reinert's going to say he was throwing it to. And when he goes to the sideline, he's probably going to say, yeah, coach, I knew I was throwing it to the right guy. That ball wasn't overthrown at all. First down, we moved the chains.
15 plays for Plains, only 4 for IC Catholic. We have 3:20 to play here in the first quarter. Nothing doing. Boy, how many times can we call Keemon Reese's name here early? Reese. He's a 5'10", 190-pound junior. He has been all over the field. Number 44 there is Kevin Cook, 65, Reese.
They tried to run it right into the teeth of that Knights defense, and they were having none of that. Nick Sampson, when he's been able to get loose, it's been more outside the tackles in that wildcat formation. They've struggled to run the ball inside so far.
Keemon Reese with his 5th tackle here in the first quarter. Looking left, and Reiner, the completion once again. This is to Ely. And boy, just for a moment there, you saw a defender, I think it was Jack Enright, that was ready to close on that pass had it floated a little more.
And if he would have read that just about a second quicker, he would have stepped right in front of that ball and walked it into the end zone for a pick 6. But a nice job by Reiner to get the ball out of his hands quickly and continue to move this offense.
Ben Reiner came into this game completing only 48% of his passes, and yet he is 9 of 10 tonight in this 3A championship game. Play action, trouble. Reiner still alive. Picked off, but out of bounds. Well, give credit to Ben Reiner. He was in big-time trouble. The All-Stater Dylan Packer was all over him.
Yeah, and Reiner does a good job of getting rid of this ball when he can, but you got to throw that ball out of bounds. You can't force it and try and get a completion there. You have got to get that ball into the sideline. Fortunate enough, he wasn't able to come down with that and make it an interception.
Punting situation with exactly 2 minutes to play here in a scoreless first quarter. And a wobbler against the wind, nobody back. And this time, the Knights will have a little bit better field position to work with. $1:50 to play in the first quarter. Scoreless game here in your 3A championship game. Gorgeous night in DeKalb. Glad you're with us. Alternate years. We are in DeKalb for your state football championships this year. And for IC Catholic Prep, not a very long trip. Just coming from Elmhurst, DuPage County. They play out of the Metro Suburban Conference. And of course, last year it was a 43-0 win over Carlinville for the state title for the Knights. And West will drop it. And who's on the bottom of that pile? Dressed in white jerseys, that will be Pleasant Plains. On the fumble recovery, it's Lucas Western.
A poor mesh by IC Catholic, and it's the first turnover of the game for either team. Western jumps all over that football, and Pleasant Plains is in business now inside the 25-yard line. You see here, it looks like it was going to be a play action, maybe a screen, and Eatman gets his hand on the football as West tries to pull it away from him, and it looks like wind up for a throw. And Western's all over it.
Well, this will just add to the Plains' time of possession. 8 minutes and 23 seconds is how long the Cardinals have had the ball prior to this snap. Reinert, dangerous pass, and this one is intercepted. Picked off by Max Cook. Well, the last one he got away with on that side, but this time Cook will turn the ball back around to the Knights.
2 plays, 2 turnovers. It looks like the ball goes off the hands of the wide receiver. There were 2 Knights over there. One of them is Saunders, who undercuts the route. You see him right there. Kali Saunders undercuts the route. It goes off the hands of Kai Carlberg and right into the breadbasket of Cook. And you see there his heel hits the white before he can head the other way. Oh, it looks like IC's got their own turnover chain there on the sideline.
The last 6 seconds have seen 2 turnovers, 1 each way. And quickly to the right side, close to a first down. West gets rid of it in a hurry. He will get it to Khalil Saunders. Here's Max Cook. You know, he's probably a little disappointed with his teammate who knocked him out of bounds. He had some room to go on that last interception.
You always talk about sudden changes in the game of football. When you put the defense in a bad situation, you want them to kind of help you out if you're the offense. And right there, IC Catholic gets the ball back immediately for their offense. Now the onus is on Pleasant Plains to do the same. Can they answer?
And they will on this play. Great penetration. Lucas Western, number 13, was there again. When Lazarick Eatman looked up, he saw 3 white jerseys. Jake Hermes, number 9, also around the ball. What was a second down and about half a yard to go is now 3rd and about 5, a loss of 3.
You see Western come off the edge. Both DNs or outside linebackers go unblocked in that formation for IC. And they're able to make a stop for a loss.
And Eatman will be denied once again. This time, Austin Mayer right in the middle of things. 5'8", 190-pound senior.
Back-to-back big plays by the front 4 of Pleasant Plains.
30 seconds with the wind behind IC Catholic in this first quarter.
They're trying to kick this ball as fast as they can while they still have the wind.
And again, taking advantage of it, the last kick West had was a 52-yarder. This one again will be inside the 20-yard line. Pleasant Plains will start from their 19 with 15 seconds to go in a scoreless first quarter.
I've been so impressed with this Pleasant Plains defense to start this game. IC Catholic has a very high-powered offense, and Plains has stepped up to the challenge. I mean, you're talking about a Knights offense that's put up 652 points this year.
And yet here in the first quarter, they have just 1 first down. This is not a Plains team that is playing like a 16th seed, nor are they carrying themselves like one. They are here, they believe it. Reinert had his last pass intercepted. This time he'll give it off to Sampson, a yard, maybe a little more. Nick Sampson is not broken free. In fact, neither team has broken free here in the first quarter. Your 3A championship game, a couple of zeros. IC Catholic, your defending state champion, the first time ever for Pleasant Plains making it to the championship game, and we are scoreless. Those folks have come from Central Illinois, a little bit south of Springfield, to Northern Illinois University and DeKalb, and we're happy they've joined us. Those people right there in blue coming from Elmhurst. Dave Bernhardt along with Chris Highland as we get ready to start the second quarter. Wind behind the back of Reinert. The short toss to the near side. And positive yardage to Sampson. Chris, in the first quarter, I'm going to give you some numbers here. One team ran 20 plays, the other ran just 7. The team that ran 20 plays had the ball for 8 minutes and 44 seconds to just 3 minutes and 16 seconds for their opponent. And in terms of first downs, a 5-to-1 difference. Now,
well, I saw the first quarter. I saw the first quarter, but for anybody turning on the TV just now and watched IC Catholic play this year, they probably think that that's the Knights who dominated the first quarter. But I tell you what, Pleasant Plains has answered the bell and come out hot to start this game. It's been so exciting in the first 12 minutes.
And they have a manageable third down here, need about 3 yards. Again, a dangerous pass and incomplete. The intended receiver was Carlberg.
That's great coverage by Max Cook. That's twice that he's almost been able to pick off a ball from Reinert. He had an interception in the first quarter, and there he's all over Carlberg to force 4th down.
And for the first time tonight, a punt when everybody knows it's coming. At least for Plains. About a 15-mile-per-hour wind at the back, and this will take another good hop. It will keep on going.
Somebody better run that ball down.
And they will at the 2-yard line. How about that? I didn't know whether they were going to get down there. Grant Mink stops the ball at about the 1-yard line, following a 72-yard punt. Well, you get the wind at the back, you get a little end-over-end action, and good things happen on the turf. This was Tavis with the punt.
Look at that bounce. That is a Pleasant Plains roll right there. And nice job by the punt coverage team to run that ball down. That's just a few feet from going into the end zone, but Grant Mink is there, and it puts IC Catholic in the shadow of their own goalposts.
They will have 3 players standing in the end zone waiting this snap. Eatman, he will get out of there, and he'll break it free. Lazarick Eatman, he has the speed. Does he have the angle? Oh my goodness, he came within inches of going 99 yards.
Eatman almost gets run down from behind in his own end zone, but he's able to escape, cuts it upfield, and he takes it all the way into Pleasant Plains territory. You're going to see coming off the backside, there he is. It's the man who had the fumble recovery in the first quarter. That's Lucas Western. He can't get Eatman in the end zone, and Eatman is off to the races, but it's a touchdown-saving tackle by the Cardinals.
Sam McAfee stops Eatman after the 56-yard run, and now here to the near side is Jacob Litton. Does he stay in bounds? He is knocked out. He stayed in bounds, and they will say he went out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Have you ever seen the field turn upside down as we have in the last 2 plays? From the 1-yard line on the north end to the 2-yard line here in the south end.
This is what this IC Catholic offense can do to you. They are a big play machine with guys like Eatman and that man right there. On the screen play, it's just a simple screen, a play action. You get it into your playmakers' hands and you let them do their work.
Last 2 plays, 97 yards. Knights looking for 2, and Eatman will go backwards for a couple. 2 plays, 97 yards.
And that's a great job by the Pleasant Plains. You see him reaching for the pylon. He looks like he just maybe steps out right there. Good call by the official. Stopped just short. Another touchdown-saving tackle, and a good job on 1st and goal by Pleasant Plains. When you're tired like this is when you got to dig deep. You got to find something down there inside of you to keep IC out of the end zone here.
Eatman, he'll be short again. He was nearly stripped. Western ended up making the tackle. It's not been easy for Eatman other than that 56-yard run. What a 98-yard drive in 4 plays, but looking for 6 points.
IC Catholic's going to go quick, and they've got the big fullback in there.
But this will be an easy dance through the big hole for Lazarick Eatman in a 6-0. Knights lead. 99-yard touchdown drive.
The Knights had Keemon Reese in the backfield with Lazarick Eatman. They tell him to run it behind the big man, the fullback. Right there, you see him clearing out the linebacker, and Eatman waltzes into the end zone for the first score of the game.
Joey Macy-Geraci on to attempt the extra point. But they're going to go for 2. And we'll have to be satisfied with a 6-0 lead. It was Khalil Saunders looking for the 2-point conversion. Lazarick Eatman has had somewhat of a tough night. His 56-yard run set up his 1-yard touchdown run, makes it a 6-0 game. We were searching for points in the first quarter. And then when IC Catholic had the ball at the 1-yard line, we thought, well, there may be points. It could be more of a safety type of thing, but instead a 99-yard touchdown drive, and it didn't take very long. 5 plays in a minute 29. 56 of those 99 yards coming from Eatman. See Bill Kreft working the sidelines. Kreft in his 6th season, 54 wins, 16 losses as the head coach for the Knights. IC Catholic lost 1 game this year, 2nd game of the year, 26-23. And that came against St. Lawrence. That was a game that Luke Rickabee, the starting quarterback last year, back to 4-year starter, injured his knee, out for the season, and people like Lazarick Eatman had to step up. In fact, Bill Kraft said it's taken basically 5 players doing different things to make up for what Rickabeen has given them.
He was such a dynamic player in the state championship game last year for them. Did it all, not just on the field, but off the field as a leader. And he hasn't lost a step there. Coach Kress says that Luke Rickabeen has been at every single practice. He's had a headset on during games. He has really been involved in this team's success, even after his injury.
Michael Johnson hammers this into the wind. And a little trickery here to the near side, Carlberg, but he'll be stopped back to the 12-yard line. The Illinois Treasury. Do you have unclaimed property? Check today at illinoistreasurer.gov. The Illinois Treasurer's Office safeguards unclaimed property such as life insurance proceeds, missing paychecks, and forgotten bank deposits. There is a $2 billion in unclaimed property. Check if your name is among the thousands who have unclaimed property at illinoistreasurer.gov. That's www.illinoistreasurer.gov. Well, for the first time tonight, Pleasant Plains will have the ball trailing. They will start from their 11. They have not had good field position this evening. Ben Reinert's completed 10 of 14 passes, but he's going to go on the ground to Sampson, who will stumble forward for a couple more before he takes a pretty good hit in the upper part of his back.
Nick Sampson took a big hit at the end of that play. He gets up slowly. And it looks like his quarterback is checking on him to make sure he's all right. He's going to stay in the ball game. You see there he's had 7 carries for 18 yards. He gets spun around inside here, and then one of the Knights comes in to clean it up and maybe crunches on his back a little bit. He stays in the game. He's flanked to the right of Reinert and fly motion.
That's Carlberg. He'll get it. And he will be hit immediately. Khalil Saunders waiting there for him. Saunders, the smaller of the 2 twins, at 185 pounds and 5 feet 11 inches tall. His twin brother, Collie, 6'3", 215. A loss on the play, 3rd and 11. Now it feels a little bit different here in Husky Stadium.
We haven't called Tavis's name in a while. He's at the top of the screen, just below the numbers.
Looking that way. And just a bit overthrown. Once again, they were looking that time, though, for Kevin Ingram. And a quick 3 and out for the Cardinals. Well, there was some swagger in the step of Pleasant Plains in the first quarter, but that swagger has turned to the folks in those navy blue jerseys.
The momentum swings quite quickly in the game of football, and right now IC Catholic has all of it. Pleasant Plains can certainly get it back, but they're going to need a quick 3 and out from their defense.
Last kick went for 72 yards. No pressure. It's a good thing. Dangerous catch, but great field position to the 35-yard line as Jacob Litton made that catch on the punt. IC Catholic starting at their 1-yard line moments ago. Lazarick Eatman, a safety? He comes within a shoestring of taking this to distance. It ends up 56 yards on the carry. And then the pass to Litton. Litton hot puts it down that sideline. And that will set up a short 1st and goal, Lazarick Eatman. And that's why we're sitting in a 6-0 game right now. From the 35. More confusion in the backfield. That's the second time that West and Eatman have had a few problems back there.
Looked like a design draw play. Some of the offensive linemen trying to work to the second level, but they maybe just try and get to the second level a little too quickly. And they hang Eatman and West out to dry in the backfield. It's a big 1st down stop. 2nd and long now for IC.
A loss of 7 on that first play. CJ West at quarterback. He will throw it if he can find someone. And that will bring up 3rd and long. How about CJ West? I mean, he's thrown for what, almost 2,000 yards this year. He also punts. but as a JV player, he was a JV quarterback and offensive guard. This guy knows how to make adjustments. He was a wide receiver starting this year.
You're right. He's seen almost every facet of the game from every point of view on the offensive side, and that's what makes him such a good quarterback. Coach Kraft said that, hey, CJ can do everything that Luke Rickabine can do. It just maybe does it a little bit slower, but he's certainly a talented ball player.
Knights 1 of 3 on 3rd down, and it will now be 1 of 4. And again, the Pleasant Plains defense rises to the occasion. Well, you take away those 2 plays we just saw, the long run from Eaton and the short pass long run for Litton, and this Cardinals defense has more than held their own here tonight. Fourth down and 20. Remember, after that punt, Knights started at the 35 of Plains. West will kick it. And a knuckleball. Boy, our punters have been absolutely fabulous tonight.
Some really good punts.
We've had balls inside the 20, inside the 10, inside the 5. This is all about defense following that 40-yard punt. We'll resume in a 6-0 game. I don't know that many people that came here to Husky Stadium or joining us on NBC Sports Chicago envisioned a low-scoring game midway through the second quarter, but you know, you take a look at the previous drive to the very last one for IC Catholic, a 99-yard touchdown drive. Next time they have the ball, 3 and out, a minus 10 yards.
What a response by the Pleasant Plains defense.
Now their offense will have to respond once again inside, this time the 5-yard line, right at the 5. Ben Reinert had the hot hand early. Sampson will break free. Boy, that is good, hard, rugged running for 5'9", 195-pound senior who goes both ways. His 8th carry of the night.
He was very patient on that play. That's his best carry in between the tackles tonight, and it was all because he was patient. He sees the field really well and does a nice job of getting some positive yards there.
He picked up 8, and he has a first down here. Room up the middle. To the 40, he stays alive. And he's across midfield to the 40-yard line. The longest play of the night for Pleasant Plains puts them in IC Catholic territory.
The Knights have learned their lesson now. Hey, it's going to take more than one guy to get 44 down tonight. He's a hard runner. It's not going to take 1 or 2. It might take 3 or 4. You see him bounce off a couple of guys here. One shoestring tackle's not going to get it done. Eatman can't bring him down. It's Max Cook that has to finally wrestle him to the turf. What a run by 44, Nick Sampson. He's not just big, man. He can cut loose when he's in the open field.
His first carry in the drive got him 8 yards. That one got him 48 yards, and it takes it to the 39-yard line. And IC Catholic needs a timeout. 9 carries, 75 yards. That is right there at about his average this season. And Bill Kraft wants to just get that defense just kind of settled down a little bit.
I like that timeout by Coach Kraft. I mean, it's a quick trigger on a timeout. You think that, you know, we still got 5 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go, but you know what? We just gave up some big yards, and Pleasant Plains, who is playing in their first state title game in school history, is hyped up. They've got that sideline behind them. He wants to try and halt some of that momentum that the Cardinals have.
Hey, Saturday on NBC Sports Chicago, the Blackhawks continue their Florida swing with the contest with the Florida Panthers. Coverage starts at 5:30 with Blackhawks pregame live or streaming live on the NBC Sports app. And we're glad you have joined us here tonight in DeKalb. The defending state champions, the Knights of IC Catholic, taking on the first-time member of the Final Two, Pleasant Plains Cardinals. And more room for Sampson. He slips through 1 tackle. Finally brought down by Collie Sanders, but not before he gets inside the 20-yard line.
So we saw that fly sweep motion, something that I said Pleasant Plains loves to run that fly sweep with Kai Carlberg out of. This is the first time you're going to see Reinert fake the fly sweep, and you're going to give it to Nick Sampson. And look at how much room he's got to run on the backside of that play. Kali Saunders finally brings him down. The big linebacker has to run him down from behind. But because they've ran that play 2 times already, and they've gotten that defense moving that way and flowing with that fly sweep motion, Kai Carlberg works as a decoy on that play, and Sampson's able to break free for a big gain.
Cardinals in the red zone for the first time tonight. This drive started at their 5-yard line. That will be a pickup of 1 yard, but let's go back a couple of plays.
So you're going to see from the wide angle here, you see that fly sweep motion. Carlberg takes it, and you see 2 or 3, even Ricky Misselwick in the interior of that defensive line bites on that fly sweep motion. He moves to the defense's right, and Nick Sampson is able to sneak by on the left for a big gain inside the 20 for Pleasant Plains.
Remember, this is a Plains team that scored 41 points against Anna Jonesboro last weekend in some tough weather conditions. They have the wind at their back, a turf field, trailing just 6-0. Under 5 minutes to play here in the first half. And quick whistles. And a flag thrown by our back judge, and that play clock may have wound down to 0.
Dead ball, delay, the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 30.
How well played has this ball game been? That is our first penalty tonight. We have 4.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. This will back it up 5.
And the official said still 3rd down, but it is 2nd down. I think he just got a little bit mixed up there. So for those of you at home, it will be 2nd and 15 for Pleasant Plains.
Brody Walworth in his 4th year. In his first year, he went recruiting players in his own hallways and doubled his roster size to over 60. Second and long. Nice little run by Western. He gets back that penalty yardage and a bit more, makes it a manageable 3rd down.
First time we've seen Western in the backfield. He's back there with Kai Carlberg in that Wildcat. And Carlberg makes a great decision to give that ball up to Western. We're going to see the same formation here.
Yeah, Cardinals getting to the line in a hurry. Need 7 yards for a 1st down. This time it is Carlberg that will keep it. And we talked about Ricky Misselwick before, number 77. He was in there clogging things up, also peeling himself off the pile. Number 44, Kevin Cook. And at the bottom of the pile, Keemon Reese. There's Misselwick.
That's fool me once, shame on me, or excuse me, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. There we go, I got it right the 2nd time.
4th down. Cardinals need to get inside the 10-yard line, but they're going to attempt the 32-yard field goal. Going to look for points. This is Carlberg. And that kick misses wide left. Carlberg attempting his 2nd field goal of the season. Still looking for the first one to go through, so that long drive by Plains that started back at their 5-yard line included a 48-yard run from Nick Sampson, comes up empty.
Carlberg, who's actually a rugby player, a fairly good kicker, an All-American rugby player, but just pushes that one left, and you see the disappointment on his face as Plains is turned away.
You speak of the rugby, and he has to kind of shake that off. His dad, Kai's dad, big-time rugby player, is running the Springfield Celts rugby program. He's brought in, of course, Kai, and Kai recruited Ethan Inkenbrand, and he got Nick Sampson to play. Austin Meyer joined. Kevin Ingram says, no, not yet, not ready for rugby yet. Quick pass and open field for a moment for Kali Saunders. You know, and to Brody Walworth's credit, you know, rugby, of course, a very physical sport. He's all for these guys playing just because they're high school people. You know, go ahead and play.
Yeah, and he said, you know, I love multi-sport athletes. At such a young age, he loves getting guys involved in a number of different sports, thinks it makes them better football players as well.
Pace picking up a little bit here. West is going to tuck it and go. Boy, there's the strength of C.J. West. He took a hit from Jack Hermas straight on and got a couple of more yards.
He's a big body, tough to take down when he's in the open field. Nick Sampson can't get a hold of him, and then he lowers the shoulder there on Pleasant Plains. linebacker Jake Hermes.
To the near side, just a bit wide. So we've seen Eatman get the handoff a few times. He is dangerous when he gets out there in space. That time West could not find him.
They try and get him in the flat with Saunders blocking for him. But West just can't put enough on that throw as he tries to make it on the run. 3rd and short for IC.
West 4 of 6 throwing the ball tonight. And he has the field spread. 3 receivers to the bottom, 2 to the top. He'll never get a chance. The pocket was obliterated. Number 82 is Tristan Tavis. Lucas Wester, number 13, also on the sack.
Pleasant Plains brings pressure, and it's a full jailbreak. There's a timeout on the field, but you see right there, coming off the left side, it's Tavis and Western. Man, Western, we've called his name a number of times. You see there, a good stunt on the backside, and West never sees it coming. Pleasant Plains with another big stop on defense.
I mean, if they didn't get him, Austin Mayer was around, Ethan Enkenbrandt, and a timeout called here by Plains. It comes with 2:26 to play. They use as much time as they can here at the end with the win. Each team has a couple of timeouts remaining. Of course, coming up the half, Cameron Smith, Edgy Tim will have highlights and stats for you. And there will be interesting conversation between those two gentlemen coming up at halftime. There's a lot of people around the state that did not expect to see the score that you're looking at right there. Bill Kreff, not so sure he necessarily felt this one coming the way it's gone down so far.
I think there's a lot of guys on the other sideline, though, in white jerseys that say, heck yeah, we expected to be in this game by 1 score at halftime.
And that will be no flag and a kick to about the 39-yard line. We kept an eye on our referee to make sure that all was on the up and up because it was very clogged up. Nick Sampson will come back onto the field with 2:16 to play. You got to believe he's going to see the ball a few more times on this drive.
They had 2 big runs on the last drive as Pleasant Plains really got things going offensively. They got into the red zone. A missed field goal kept them off the board, but Nick Sampson, their workhorse, got him into field goal range. Watch for him to get the ball here again a lot on this drive as Pleasant Plains tries to crack the scoreboard before halftime.
Reinhardt, nice play over the middle to Tavis. Boy, he takes a hit, and look at the strength of Tristan Tavis. He pulled 3 Knights with him for another yard. Tavis, 6'3", 220-pounder. Does he look like a high jumper to you? Well, he's a 2-time All-State high jumper. 4 catches now for Tavis.
It had been a while since we called his name, but he gets back into action there with the pass over the middle.
Sampson looking for holes. Good patience will get him up near the 50-yard line.
He took the words right out of my mouth. Great patience on that play. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily see a guy with such power, you know, take his time like Sampson does. You probably see a guy like that, you know, oh, bowling ball. He's just going to, you know, run into the backs of his offensive lineman. But no, Nick Sampson's a smart ball player. He knows how to find holes in that defense and does a good job of taking his time behind his big offensive line.
It's the 8th third down for Pleasant Plains. They've converted 3 of them, and it's not going to happen this time. And now a very interesting decision will come up with under 60 seconds or right at 60 seconds to play. But IC Catholic will take a timeout at this stage. Let's see where they spot the ball. It will be 4th and about 2. Not even, maybe. Brody Walworth, not sure whether he's talking to his team or to the officials. Our officials tonight in this ball game, working that 3A game. Congratulations to them for making it to the state finals. It's Grant Noren is our referee, Chris Long, the linesman. Our umpire is James Boyles, the line judge Clinton Howard, and Heath Grody, the back judge. There is Mr. Noren and the rest of his crew. Each game with a new officiating crew, all 8 games with 8 different crews from all parts of the state.
Haven't had a whole lot of work tonight. Just one penalty so far. It's been a very well played game. Very clean by both teams.
Nick Sampson tonight has already popped that 100-yard mark. He's done it on 13 carries. He averages over 100 yards per game. Okay, here we go. 4th and about 1.5 yards. They will drop one man back to receive a punt as Plains looks like they want to draw. I see offside. Carlberg, the rugby kick. And an opportunity for a return. Good punt coverage by the Cardinals. Khalil Saunders on the return. 50 seconds left and 1 timeout remaining for the Knights.
Tried to shake Tevez. He can't do it. He just decides to get north and get as many yards as he can. About a 5 or 6 yard return. IC Catholic will have 80 yards to go and only 50 seconds to do it. But hey, we've seen so far tonight that this is a big play offense. They can get down there in a hurry.
Litton will split to the left. 3 receivers to the right. West. He's just going to fling it for Saunders, and he has him. Khalil Saunders, but a flag down back at the 25-yard line.
They might get an ineligible man downfield here. That's what I had to guess. Yep.
You know, and you could tell there was a play and then there was an improvised play within that play call.
Yeah, that's a broken play, and so your offensive linemen are thinking, I better get downfield, try and make a block here for CJ West. We're going to hear the official call right here.
Ineligible receiver downfield. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And that becomes the first penalty on IC Catholic.
So again, you see here, it looks like maybe a design run or a quick pass, and then CJ West has to improvise, so his offensive linemen start trying to make it to the second level, block some of those linebackers, and try and give West some running room, and then at the last second he decides to pitch it out there, and it puts those linemen in a very tough position.
Staying on the ground, looking to strip the ball. Never did come out of there. They got it to Kevin Cook playing a little bit of offense here to go along with his starting linebacker position.
Hard run by Cook. IC Catholic gets to the line quickly, but with only 15 seconds left, it looks like they'll be content to go to the locker room with a 1-score lead.
Eatman on a straight sprint, and he was open over the middle, and he has it. And another Knight was maybe even wider open than Eatman was. Whew. And I think the folks up in the press box for Pleasant Plains are pretty happy that Eatman actually caught the ball for about 30 yards.
Khalil Saunders is standing at the 50-yard line with no Pleasant Plains Cardinals within about 8 yards of him. And we've got another flag that's going to bring this one back, but that could have been a huge play had there been no flag, and he would have found Khalil Saunders on the sideline.
This flag was thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding number 78, half the distance to the goal, second down.
Okay, so you now have 5 seconds left. You take that one more pop and just let it go. Or you say you're going to take a knee here?
I say I'm more than happy when I'm in the, no matter how big play my offense can be, when I'm in the shadow of my own goalposts, too many things can happen. You know, you try and force a ball where it shouldn't be, and you know, just like that, it's a pick six, and this is a whole new ball game.
And that is exactly what IC Catholic will do.
And don't forget, the Knights have the ball coming out of the locker room.
Well, that puts an end to a very entertaining first half. The only scoring we had in this ball game was a 1-yard touchdown run. It was part of a 99-yard touchdown drive. This game has been back and forth. The defenses have come up big, and I think the number one takeaway here is that Pleasant Plains has been surprising everyone, including maybe the person that's going to be talking with Cameron Smith, Bill Kreft.
All right, Coach, obviously you guys could have cleaned up some things in that first half, but what were your impressions of your ball club as you go into halftime up 6-0?
I'm happy with the way they're competing. Defense is really playing well. We just got to take what's given on the other side of the ball, and we'll be okay.
All right, defensively, what can you do more or try to stop that run game for Pleasant Plains? Because it seems like they found something within the holes of your defense to get some positive yardage.
Yeah, they're really patient. They're really getting off the ball well up front. We got to kind of do our job up front a little better than we are, not lose in the box. And the patience that they're having running is really credit to them. We just got to slow down and be able to run through tackles.
And one of the main positives, you guys are up, right?
Yeah, we're up. That's good, yeah.
Thanks for the time, Coach. All right, let's send it back over to commercial break, and we will be back with more from Husky Stadium as the Knights of IC Catholic lead Pleasant Plains 6-0 in the 3A state title game. We have a great one here at Husky Stadium in this 3A state championship game between IC Catholic and Pleasant Plains as the Knights hold a 6-0 lead. Cameron Smith alongside my partner, Edgy Tim. And Edgy, this game has been back and forth, obviously, but some great defense on both sides of the ball. But the special teams has been a huge factor for both teams, actually. And for the punt side for Pleasant Plains, they made something very interesting happen when they backed IC Catholic down to that 1-yard line, but it ultimately backfired.
Yeah, it's an interesting game to say the least. I think if you're a Pleasant Plains fan, you're thrilled. And I mean, how often do you get a punt like this? Probably never in a career. And just an unbelievable roll. And you talk about slamming the field the other way. You can't do it much better than this. But again, you would think, hey, here we go. Great place to start. Whoops, here we go.
And Lazarick Eatman, the senior running back, just showcasing what he does best and just comes up just a little bit short of great shoestring tackle.
I thought he had it.
He was almost there. But then again, the Knights continue to build off of that great Eatman run, and they just keep pushing that ball closer and closer to that goal line and eventually turn this drive into 6 points on the board.
But again, that's really the only real highlight for IC in the first half. It's kind of amazing how, first of all, offensively, I think Pleasant Plains has called a great game here offensively. As we talked about, spreading the field, mixing things up, that's exactly what Pleasant Plains has done. And IC defensively, you know, you give Pleasant Plains a little bit of credit. They found something there. They found something where they're able to move the ball. So again, you go back to the locker rooms. If you're IC, you adjust a few things. But again, I don't think there's a lot of people outside of Pleasant Plains that thought this would be a 6-0 game right now.
And how special has Nick Sampson been for Pleasant Plains running that football? Obviously very hard and difficult to bring down. You're not just going to bring him down with one guy. You got to make sure that you gain tackle and wrap him up.
Yeah, again, we've seen that kind of another theme today where, you know, stronger running backs and again, just a lot of power there. Just a head-up runner and shows good speed here. I mean, those are some pretty athletic kids he's running by. Oh, and you got to get him. You got to lasso him down. He's not going to. He's going to shake off tackles, arm tackles. Again, straight ahead runner and good vision, and not afraid to throw that stiff arm in you a little bit.
And unfortunately for the Cardinals, that drive didn't result in any points. Actually, their field goal was missed from 32 yards. But Tim, we've seen some outstanding games so far. 2 full games in the 1A and 2A state championship games. A half in this 3A game. But we haven't seen any blowouts. We've seen some great competitive football in this final week of the IHSA football season.
You know, I think one of the things I talked about going back to the preseason was I thought the state of Illinois had a lot of good teams, but not that great knockdown, drag out power.
Yeah.
So far, we're kind of seeing that. We're seeing a lot of good teams, and we haven't seen that blown out. And that one great team, maybe we'll see it later today or tomorrow. So far, it's been pretty about. I don't think you could draw up in really any better games than we've had so far.
All right, if you're Bill Kraft and the IC Catholic Knights, what do you do in the second half to make sure that you're back-to-back state champions in 3A?
Just kind of relax a little bit and get back to what you do. And I thought IC had success when they went to the outside a little bit, hit the receivers, able to use that outside advantage. I think they've got a speed advantage there. I think they need to revisit that a little bit.
All right, then we'll call you just Coach Brody Walworth. What do you do to try and get
offensively, I don't change anything. I mean, I think he's calling a great game. And again, you keep going with what you're doing. It's working. You haven't put the ball in the end zone yet. Outside of that, everything else has been very, very solid.
All right, we will be back with more during halftime with stats of the first half between IC Catholic and Pleasant Plains. We have a great one coming up for you guys, and we'll dive in deeper into the numbers between these two teams. Welcome back to Northern Illinois University. IC Catholic up 6-0 against Pleasant Plains. And was that you catching that football, Tim, on that graphic? No? Wasn't you? Okay.
No, there's already enough weird video of me doing stuff with footballs. No.
All right.
Every Saturday night at 11 o'clock, you can see it if you want to talk.
Okay. All right, let's switch subjects and let's crunch some numbers with the stats from the first half between IC Catholic and Pleasant Plains. And one of the big things that jumps out to me, Tim, is obviously the rush yards, 109 compared to IC Catholic.
Yeah. You didn't think you'd see IC with only 60 yards rushing here, and Pleasant Plains absolutely owning time of possession. And again, we talked about the play calling. That's play calling. I mean, you're able to keep your offense on the field and keep that IC Catholic defense working hard. Everything but the scoreboard, Cam. Everything but the scoreboard right now for Pleasant Plains.
And we saw IC Catholic trying to get a late score before halftime, but penalties killed them. 2 penalties, 15 yards. But they made some huge plays, but ultimately had to bring them back because of miscues.
They did, but you just keep plugging away if you're Pleasant Plains. You keep knocking. Eventually, you're going to put it in the end zone.
All right. Well, we have a question for Pleasant Plains fans. All right. We've seen some fans in the stands with some plungers. So tweet us.
What's the deal?
What's the deal with that? Tweet us, Cameron Smith, Edgy Tim. We're right
Edgy
there.
Tim, yeah.
At Edgy Tim. Let us know what the plungers are for your group. But whatever it is, I'm sure you guys are hoping that it works in the second half to get back within this game. We will be back with more from Husky Stadium in this 3A matchup. Well, welcome back. I hope everyone has gotten their Black Friday shopping done and they have a nice big plate of Thanksgiving leftovers in front of you as we watch our 3A state championship game between IC Catholic and Pleasant Plains. And I have the pleasure of standing next to head coach Brody Walworth of the Cardinals from Pleasant Plains. And coach, your team obviously in that first half, 16 seed coming in, and a lot of people thought that should Pleasant Plains be here, but you guys have proven that you belong.
Absolutely. Our kids are fighting their butts off. We're playing in a great game. Our defense is playing their tails off right now. We got to find a way to score against these guys. They're pretty dang good on D2. So, hopefully we can find a way to punch one in.
All right, now it seems like you guys have found something running the ball against that IC Catholic defense. What has Nick Sampson done that has been so effective?
Well, I mean, it starts with the guys up front, and they've been doing a nice job. Nick's been really patient, which is important. I think they've over-pursued a couple, and we were able to hit it on them. They readjusted, so now we got to readjust. So looking forward to it, but we got to punch one in here.
All right, Coach, second half awaits you. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's throw it back upstairs to our crew. Leading the way is Dave Bernhardt.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron, along with Chris Highland. Happy you've joined us here tonight. And, Chris, I want to go back to the stats just for a moment before we start the second half. It's been a defensive game. IC Catholic, 128 yards total offense, 99 came on that one drive.
And on the very first play of that drive, they got 56 rushing yards from Lazarick Eatman, and you see they've only got 60 total. And so you might wonder why. Well, it goes back to how well Pleasant Plains is playing on defense, and they've dialed up pressure at the right time. They've got 2 sacks and 5 tackles for loss. Negative yardage against IC Catholic's offensive numbers. I tell you what, Pleasant Plains has played well all around, and the defense has really stepped up here. I know that IC is leading 6-0, but man, I've been so impressed with the Cardinals' defense and the way they've been able to respond.
And Cameron was talking to Brody Walworth just a moment ago about Nick Sampson. Sampson came on strong late, 13 carries for 101 yards in the first half. You've got to believe that they will continue to pound him here early in this second half.
And you're right. You heard him say the word patient when he talked about his own running back. If you go back to the comments by Bill Kreft before halftime started, he said the exact same thing. He said Nick Sampson's a very patient running back. You've heard us call him patient a number of times already today. I tell you what, he's a special kid, and he's going to have a big second half here. If Pleasant Plains wants to win this game, they're going to need something big from 44.
Do you have a sense that this opening possession of this third quarter will be so vitally important to how this second half is going to go. IC Catholic will get it first.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that them getting the ball even kind of played into how they played that last drive in the first half. They were very conservative after the couple of penalties. More than happy to go into the locker room with a 6-0 lead, kind of rely on their offense on this first drive, and then put it back all on that defense that's played so well in the first half for IC Catholic.
Wind at the back of the Knights here to start the second half. And this will be short and keeping it away from Eatman. There's some room here to the near side. Across midfield. And great field position with the flag down. The return by Jacob Litton. But let's see what this penalty flag has to offer. It was a 42-yard return if it stands. And it will be a holding on the return. Bill Krepp was not the happiest man at halftime.
Holding, number 42, first down.
Litton did his part. They'll still be good field position here for the Knights, starting at their 48.
They call it on 42, but it looks like it might have been 45. I didn't see a 42 out there. So that's going to back them up just on their own side of the 50, but still a great return and good field position for the Knights.
C.J. West will start this second half with a throw. He will go to Litton. Across midfield. Once again, good pursuit. Zach Ely on the defensive side. We've seen him offensively. Sampson, another two-way player.
And Litton's been the one for the Knights that's kind of had the big playability so far today. That big run that got them inside the 5, and then the large kick return there to start the second half.
And Eatman has not had any room other than that long run. He has nothing there. It'll be third down and about 4 yards to go for a first down.
It's been great pursuit by the back half of the Pleasant Plains defense. You see Ely there, also Ingram in on that tackle that's been able to keep Eatman bottled up so far tonight.
I see 1 of 5 on third downs here this evening. They're looking for 4 yards. And they will get it. Once again, it's Litton on the receiving end of that pass inside the 40-yard line.
He's in the slot there, and they run the exact same bubble screen that they ran on the first play of the drive. And it's a good block on the outside by Khalil Saunders that actually springs Litton to be able to get the first down.
Just underway here in the second half. The only score of this game came with 9.5 minutes to play in the second quarter, a 1-yard run by Lazarick Eatman. They fake the handoff to Eatman. They get it to Khalil Saunders. And hanging on for dear life is Zach Ely. He got some help in the form of Tristan Tavis along with Nick Sampson.
It's a great job by Ely to grab just anything that you can find there to stop Khalil Saunders from breaking that one loose. As you see both the twins up at the top of the formation now, 5 wide over there.
Getting it in the hands of Eaton. Eatman will have the first down and more. And a flag came out just as Eatman crossed that first down marker. Now you can see they just want to get the ball in the hands of number 22 and let him do what he does.
He shows right there what he's capable of when he gets loose. The Pleasant Plains sideline cheering now. It looks like it's going to back IC Catholic up and negate that big play by Eatman. But man, he is so talented with the ball in his hands. And you can see right there why IC Catholic wants to get him the ball more in the second half.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, spot foul. Still second down.
I really like Bill Krepp's comment about Lazarick Eatman. He said he's just a different kind of football player. He reads on the run, as of course any good football player does, but he does it effortlessly. Teammates just love being around Lazarick Eatman. That penalty will set up a second down and long. Not much room on that side of the field. Luke Western can't bring down West, but finally the help will come in the form of Devin Burns. Ely did everything he could, and then it was Burns that finished him off.
C.J. West doesn't find his first receiver. He decides he's going to roll right to try and buy some time. but Western is all over West, and he has to tuck it in. That brings up 3rd and very long for IC after the penalty and then the loss of yards on the sack.
Loss of 12 on the 3rd sack of the night for the Cardinals. Oh, and we're talking a 3rd down and 26. Have to zero in on the 28-yard line of Plains if you're looking for a 1st down. And West will never see it. Once again, Lucas Western, 2-time state track qualifier, making his mark on the defensive side of the ball.
What a game Western has had. I mean, he's just one-on-one with the right tackle here. You see him beat him to the outside with speed. And the 5'9" junior comes up with another big play. We've called his name so much already tonight, and Misselwick just was not able to corral him there. Another big sack for Pleasant Plains.
The 4th of the night, and once again the punting game comes up huge. Look at this. Have you seen a game, and we still have 8 minutes played in the 3rd quarter, with the punting prowess? That goes for 59 yards, but it lands at the 1-yard line. And that is where Pleasant Plains will have to start, but it's been the Cardinals' defense. Yet it's IC Catholic pitching the shutout. Back-to-back sacks by Plains. We've got a beauty here in 3A. CJ West taking a look at defense that Plains has thrown at him tonight. West has made his mark with his foot tonight.
Have you ever done a game with so many replays on punts, Dave?
Well, I don't think I have ever done a game where one person, CJ West, has punted 5 times. 4 of them have been inside the 22 at the 1-yard line.
We started our halftime highlight package with a punt.
Oh, the flag comes out.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense. Still. 1st down.
And not much room before that end zone. You're right, the highlight package starting with a punt.
And this is why these punts have been such a crucial part of the game, because this turns into a scoring opportunity for the IC Catholic defense. You have to think like an offensive player here. You're right at the goal line. You think score here if you're IC Catholic in that front 4. Get some pressure.
Sampson barely out of the end zone.
The IC Catholic players want a safety, but no, he had plenty of forward progress. They're going to give him to about the 1.5-yard line. Just a little bit of breathing room so far.
Went off that left side of the Plains offensive line. Carter Wieters along with Ethan Aikenbrandt. Now, a yard on that play, but still at the 1.5-yard line. Carlberg. They'll be happy with the couple there.
That's Max Cook on the stop. I've been so impressed with the sophomore on the outside for IC Catholic today. He's had an interception and also made a couple of big tackles right there. That could have been a big play for Pleasant Plains, maybe giving him a 1st down, but the stop by Cook makes it 3rd and long. This is decision time here for Pleasant Plains. Do you run the ball and try and give yourself a little bit more breathing room, even if you don't get a 1st down? You'll be happy to punt it away, or do you try and get the big play and get 1st down through the air?
Cardinals only 3 of 9 on 3rd downs tonight. And this may be another half the distance to the goal line penalty.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Remains 3rd down.
Plains getting a little jumpy there inside their 5-yard line. And again, if Cardinals do not get this, it will be punting time, but this time against a brisk wind. Back to the 1.5-yard line. Zach Ely will split left along with Carlberg.
I think this play call is going to tell me a lot about what Pleasant Plains thinks of their defense tonight.
Safe call is to Sampson, and that IC defense has slammed the door here at the goal line.
So you know what that play tells me is that that Pleasant Plains coaching staff has a lot of faith in their defense and the way they've played tonight. They've actually given IC Catholic some really good field position on some drives. They started a drive at the 35 and ended up taking them backwards 10 yards. So you know what? That coaching staff is saying, hey, our defense is playing well. Yes, we've given up 1 touchdown, but you know what? We're going to put this in the hands of our defense and see if they can come up big for us again.
This will be the 6th punt of the night for Plains. Just getting it away against a 16-mile-per-hour wind.
This is going to be the best starting field possession of the night for IC Catholic, as that is only about an 18-yard punt. And IC Catholic, the Knights are going to start with the ball in their own red zone.
Hey, make sure you stay tuned for our Country Financial Game Break as a part of our IHSA Greatest Championship Game Series. You will see highlights from the 1995 4A title game with Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin and Providence Catholic. Well, it doesn't get much better than this for field position. No room for Eatman. Once again, Lucas Western, the first hit. Boy, this is where you're really asking a lot of your defense here. Be a loss of about half a yard on that play. I believe Eatman has had more negative yardage plays tonight than he has had positive yardage plays. 2nd down and 10, a little more than 10. West will keep it. West with plenty of room. C.J. West, touchdown. 19-yarder. And the lead goes to 12.
I think C.J. West fooled just about everybody in Husky Stadium, keeping the ball on that play. Was Eric Eatman the decoy this time? Nice crackback block by the fullback. We've called his name a lot on defense. Kimon Reese comes across the formation, blocks the end man on the line of scrimmage. West is able to cut it up inside the block and then cross the field for the touchdown. IC Catholic going to go for 2 here, make it a full 2-score game.
They went for 2. The first touchdown they scored did not get it. Now you have Reese in the backfield. Big man blocking if they need him. Eatman looking for the hole, and he's got 2. And a lead, 14-0. The defending state champs over Pleasant Plains. Punting game has been the story tonight. Great punt by West to pin Pleasant Plains deep. And on the other end, punting against the wind. Great field position leading to this C.J. West 19-yard touchdown run and a 2-touchdown lead.
The 2017 IHSA Football State Finals are brought to you by Country Financial. Take simple steps today at countryfinancial.com/simplesteps.
Well, we had 1 touchdown in the first half. We have 1 touchdown here in the second half. And with that, the defending state champions leading it by 2 scores. Pleasant Plains, their offense moved the ball efficiently early in the game, let their defense take over, but now it's all about the offense. They'll get their hands on the ball following his kickoff. The wind at the back again of the man kicking off for IC Catholic. That will be Michael Johnson. There is Lucas Western. We've talked about him a lot. He has track sprinter speed if he can get his hands on the ball. Johnson going old school. Look at that square toe. Hitting it straight on. And harmlessly into the end zone. 2 touchdowns tonight. They have both been short touchdown runs.
And we've talked about the struggles of the IC Knights running game so far tonight, but there's been one common denominator on both these touchdowns, and it's 65 at the bottom of your screen there, and he's got his hand in the dirt in the backfield on the second touchdown. It's Kimon Reese The linebacker, who also plays fullback, has sprung both of those touchdowns for IC Catholic. The first one, a short touchdown run by Eatman. The second one, he comes across the formation and knocks out that defensive end, and CJ West is able to cut it up behind his fullback and waltz into the end zone. Nice job there by the junior from IC Catholic.
Now he will play some defense against a Pleasant Plains team that had 164 yards of offense in the first half and only 3 yards and maybe 3.5 yards now here in the second half. Now Ben Reinhardt was effective throwing the ball early, put the heart in the throats of some Plains fans, though, when he had a couple passes nearly picked off. Did have one interception. They've gone away from that pass. He's 11 of 16 tonight. Remember, he started 9 of 10. A yard pickup for Nick Sampson. That one deflected. It may have been Dylan Packer that got a hand on the ball. And now the Cardinals in a little bit of trouble. Of course, last time they were down inside their 5-yard line, now faced with a 3rd down and long.
Pleasant Plains is starting to sputter a little bit, and this is a fast and physical Knights team that they're taking on tonight. Probably faster and more physical than anybody they've seen so far this year. And they've got some guys that have to play both ways for the Cardinals, and so they're kind of starting to slow down a little bit as we get later and later here into the third quarter.
Carlberg coming through, and he will get it. And he will be met and stopped for a loss. Right there, holding his ground, Collie Saunders. Already offers from Iowa State and Central Michigan.
Pleasant Plains has run that play a few too many times, and Collie Saunders is able to sniff it out early, gets the tackle for loss, and puts Pleasant Plains even further behind the chains on 4th down.
A loss of 2, and once again having to kick against the wind in not great field position.
Tavis got the last punt. It looks like Carlberg is going to get this one if they do decide to punt it away.
Pretty good job right here. Will come out of bounds. It'll be near midfield. He did keep it away from Khalil Saunders. And now you have that IC Catholic offense coming on the field, playing with a little bit more confidence with this 2-touchdown lead under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter.
If you're the Knights offense, you kind of smell blood in the water right here. It's time to put this one away, or at least really extend this lead and give yourself a comfortable lead going into the fourth quarter. And you can really let that defense play ball in the fourth quarter, get after Pleasant Plains.
It's an offense that's averaged over 50 points per game. Quickly. And that will be a quick 7 yards or so. They get it to Sean Hipskin. Hipskin, a junior, his 16th pass reception of the year, and Knights are ready to go. Bouncing to the outside, to the inside, to the outside, and more, to the inside, to the outside. Lazarick Eatman, just short of the goal line. How about those moves from Lazarick Eatman? 44 yards on the run.
Man, he is special, and he's so smooth when he runs, too. You can see here he makes a couple of Pleasant Plains Cardinals miss in the backfield, and then 2 more miss on the sideline, and tries to kick it into another gear before he's stopped at the 1-yard line. And IC Catholic knows that they've got Pleasant Plains on their heels. They're going to go fast.
And into the end zone easily. Eatman with the second touchdown of the game. His 44-yard run set it up. Eatman now with 113 yards and 2 scores.
You knew you weren't going to be able to keep that IC Catholic offense down for long. We've talked about the numbers. I mean, they're just staggering for IC Catholic. 652 points on the season, as you see Lazarick Eatman's numbers tonight. 2 touchdowns on 14 carries. But this is a team that is ran for over 3,300 yards and thrown for 2,600 more.
Now looking for 1 point at a time, and they will get it. Joey Macy-Geraci. Lazarick Eatman. He's been held down. He's been held down. He had a 56-yard run earlier, and this was a beauty of 44 yards.
Right there, he's able to stop on a dime. Two Pleasant Plains Cardinals collide because he's so fast, so quick. You got to go full speed at him. And when he stops like that, man, he'll make you miss in a hurry. And then it's just an easy cleanup there from 1 yard for his second touchdown of the game.
Knights have scored twice here in a span of about 2 minutes. This last drive took all of 39 seconds, and that's how they can hit you in a hurry.
It's a big play offense with big play capability, and they're able to get those yards in chunks. Almost every single one of their scoring drives so far has centered around a big running play. 2 by Eatman on 2 of the scoring drives, and then the touchdown run by C.J. West on their second scoring drive.
We talked about the punting game and all those punts that have gone inside the 5-yard line. It's been the 2 punts against the wind that has really turned this game around.
Yeah, for those of you at home, I mean, the wind is fairly stiff. All of the flags here in Husky Stadium are pretty stiff, and IC Catholic is kicking with that wind right now, and they've done a lot of damage here in the third quarter with that wind at their back.
16-mile-per-hour wind, and now starting from the 5-yard line. This is Western. He finds a hole. Lucas Western to the corner. Lucas Western, 2-time state track qualifier, will get to the 35-yard line. 60-yard return for Lucas Western when his team needed it the most.
And look at how exhausted he is. I love that. This man's playing every facet of the game so far. I don't know how many times he's come off the field. It hasn't been much. We've seen him in the backfield. We've seen him make plays on defense. And now we see him bring Pleasant Plains right back into this game with a big kickoff return. He is one cut away from taking this to the house. As you see him get run down from behind, he's got to be exhausted, but man, he's going to lay it all. Yeah, you see him right there on the sideline, just laying it all out on the field. You got to love that.
From the 36-yard line, Stephen Crady denied Plains of that touchdown return. Sampson hit hard. He has been stuck a couple of times. This time Keemon Reese was there. There's Kobe Reed. When he hits you, you know it. 275-pounder.
It's tough to run that ball into the teeth of that IC defense.
Once again, there's Reese. Plains chasing a 3-touchdown deficit. Better hurry, 10 seconds on the play clock. Play action. The ball took a long time to get out there, and Ely will just be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
They've tried to run that screen twice tonight to the far side of the field from the close hash. They haven't had a whole lot of success because, like you said, the amount of time that ball takes to travel through the air, that's a tough throw in high school when the hashes are a little bit further.
Under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Third quarter that has seen a couple of touchdowns, 15 points scored by the defending state champions. And Plains will have to take a timeout. There was confusion substitution-wise. They were trying to get some people on and off the field.
I think they only had 10 on the field right before they snapped that ball.
Homie McBride was just kind of trotting off the field. One year ago, we were at the University of Illinois in Champaign. It was IC Catholic Prep taking on Carlinville. And it was 2 big scores early for the Knights that ended up resulting in a 43-0 win.
Yeah, before you can even blink an eye in that championship game, Luke Rickabine had the IC Knights up by 14. You see right there, that's a familiar number. Lazarick Eatman Jordan Rowell doing a lot of damage on the ground for IC Catholic last year. This has been a much different game for the Knights. They've had to fight for this one through 3 quarters.
They are pitching their second consecutive shutout here in state finals play. IC Catholic looking for their 4th state championship in school history. Pleasant Plains had won 1 playoff game prior to this season. 3rd and long. Reiner, trouble. Packard sends him to the turf. Number 51, Dylan Packard, 6'1", 205-pound senior all-stater, a leader in the classroom, a 32 ACT, puts the clamps on Reiner.
Just beats him with speed there to get to Reiner. And it's a decision time if you are Pleasant Plains. Still plenty of time left, and you've got some guys who can score quickly, but do you go for it here? Do you punt it away? You've got a couple options with a guy like Carlberg behind there.
He'll just rugby style, out of bounds, and pretty good field position here for IC Catholic. They will start from their 27-yard line. How about Bill Kraft, right? First 3 seasons of his 6 seasons, 17 and 13, got things put together, and since then 37 wins in 40 games. That is getting the job done, a state championship, and he's a little over a quarter away from getting his 2nd as a head coach.
It's been an impressive 2-year run for this team. They've had some bumps and bruises this year and fought through some adversity. They've got that loss on the schedule in week 2, but man, have they responded since then.
Eatman, there's another great cut to the 39-yard line. Boy, he has the shifty cut. I mean, it's so quick.
It's unbelievable how he's able to stop on a dime like that and make people miss in the secondary. And I mean, gosh, when a guy like that can break loose for your offense, it gives you so many more dynamics. And Pleasant Plains just has no answer for him right now.
And a big hole. Eatman. He'll get to the outside. And he will be run down. Give credit to Tristan Tavis for getting the angle and denying the touchdown for Lazarick Eatman. As it is, the ball all the way to the 15-yard line following that 46-yard run.
What else can you say about the 5'10", 165-pound senior other than he has completely taken over this game for IC Catholic?
Eatman had 222 rushing yards in the 2nd-round win over Piatone. In the quarterfinal, he rushed for 225 yards and just 9 carries against Wilmington. He has 2 touchdowns today, and right now, Pleasant Plains, their defense has to be absolutely gassed.
That's why coach is going to take this timeout right now. There's no need to save those timeouts for offense if you go down by 4 scores in the 4th quarter. You need to tell and that's what he's telling his defense right now. Hey, this is a gut check for us right now. We got to find something deep down within us if we want to win ourselves a state championship. As you see the last run here, again, boom, stops on a dime, makes a man miss, and he's to the sideline. And you're right, that's a great touchdown saving tackle by Tevis for Pleasant Plains.
You remember how I was saying that Plains was really bottling up Lazarick Eatman? He's up to 171 yards. There's your 3rd quarter difference, and that's the difference in the ball game. 15 points here, and IC Catholic looking for more.
A complete tale of 2 halves, and it has all started with number 22 for the Knights.
Final 16 seconds here in the 3rd quarter. And again, and another cut, making a man miss. To the end zone. Touchdown, Eatman, his 3rd of the night, the 3rd touchdown of this quarter for the Knights. 15-yard touchdown run for Eatman stretches this lead to 27-0.
He's a completely different man here in the 2nd half. He came out of that locker room like a man possessed. Eatman has just, everything has gone his way here in the second half. These runs are so impressive. You see, this is designed to go to the left. Boom, he cuts it up once, makes a man miss. He's going to stick his foot in the ground one more time. And Pleasant Plains players are just falling all over themselves trying to corral him. You're starting to see that Pleasant Plains defense wear down a little bit. As I said, this is a very physical front for the Knights, and they just can't hang anymore.
Macy Geraci will make it 28-0. 9 seconds of play in the third quarter. Now you try to tackle number 22. Go ahead. Nope. One more cut, there it is. And Eatman goes in. I'll tell you, Lazarick Eatman has to be very happy that he is playing on the turf. Of the 4 games that the Knights played in these playoffs, 2 of them came on very muddy fields. And of course, that is every runner's nightmare.
We watched the film of those games to kind of get ready for tonight, and you know what? This was a completely different IC Catholic team when they were on turf at home or when they were on that muddy field like they were in the semifinal. You see his numbers there, I mean, just through the roof now, and all of these scoring drives have been on under a minute for IC Catholic here in the second half. But this is such a fast team when you get them on an artificial surface like this that it's tough to keep up with them.
186 yards for Eaton. You saw those numbers a little while ago. He had 69 at the half, so that's what, about 120 yards here in the third quarter. 2 of his 3 touchdowns have come in this period. And that big time of possession advantage in the first half for Pleasant Plains is kind of a memory right now. This will be tough for Western. Somehow he stays on his feet. He'll get near the 30-yard line. Boy, Lucas Western made something out of nothing there. And we have one more tick of the clock here in the third quarter. Western will get a breather here. He'll get a breather during the break coming up in just a moment. And right now, the Cardinals, whether it be this snap or the next couple early in the fourth quarter, need a big play. Here comes Carlberg. This play went for 40-plus yards in the first half, and it goes for about 4 right there. And there's Lazarick Eatman. Yes, he does go both ways. Huge third quarter for Eatman and the Knights. They turn a 6-0 halftime advantage into a 28-0 lead. CJ West got it rolling with a 19-yard run, and then it was Eatman dancing, darting, 2 more touchdowns, and a 4-touchdown lead for your defending champs in Class 3A. Get out of there, and he'll break it free. Lazarick Eatman. He has the speed. Does he have the angle? Oh my goodness! He came within inches of going 99 yards.
IC Catholic's going to go quick, and they've got the big fullback in there.
But this will be an easy dance through the big hole for Lazarick Eatman, and a 6-0. West will keep it. West with plenty of room. CJ West, touchdown.
And IC Catholic knows that they've got Pleasant Plains on their heels. They're going to go fast.
And into the end zone easily. Eatman with the 2nd touchdown of the game. And again, and another cut, making a man miss. To the end zone. Touchdown, Eatman, his 3rd of the night. Glad to have you with us here at Husky Stadium. That's how we got to this score through 3 quarters, 28-0. IC Catholic, the defending state champs, looking for their 2nd straight shutout in championship game play. Ben Reiner, quarterback, will go down as the Cardinals looking to make something happen. But now if you're a defensive lineman, linebacker, you just come flat out after anybody wearing a white jersey.
You pin your ears back and go. Pleasant Plains has to get something going on this drive. They were unable to get anything going in the third quarter. As you see here, Reinhardt is swallowed up by that front four of IC Catholic. IC had 6 first downs in the third quarter. Pleasant Plains did not have a single one.
They won't get one here to start the fourth quarter. And a game filled with punts that have had an impact on this game. Carlberg just keeping it away from Khalil Saunders. The ball in a 4-touchdown lead for the Knights. Remember, they're doing this without their best player. That's Luke Rickabine. He went down in the second week of the season, the quarterback, the 4-year starter for IC. And Bill Kreff said, you know, when he went down, it became a culture shock to our program. It took them a week to kind of get back and say, now what are we going to do? Well, they had Khalil Saunders play a little quarterback a couple games till he had a foot injury. And then C.J. West moved into this starting job. They had to shuffle some things around defensively, but it's looking pretty good right now. Eatman to the outside. He will get nowhere. That is a great tackle by Nick Sampson. He got to Eatman before Eatman could get going. That's a loss of 4 on the tackle for loss for Sampson, who came into this game with 24 TFLs.
And that's how Pleasant Plains had so much success in the first half. Getting IC behind the chains, those tackle for losses that we mentioned, they had 5 in the first half along with 2 sacks. And that's why their defense was playing so well. They were playing with their hair on fire and really getting after Eatman and West in the backfield.
Once again, number 22 is Eric Eatman. So easily to the corner. Western just grabs a hold and hangs on.
And you've got to get that guy down in the backfield because, man, when he gets loose like that, you can see what he can do. Looks like there's absolutely nothing going there, and he's able to find a hole and spring free. Stays in bounds, get a couple extra yards and the first down for the Knights. Eatman well on his way to 200 yards tonight, while Pleasant Plains as a team now only has 161 yards on the game.
Right now, after that 15-yard run, Eatman at 197. And maybe 198 after that carry. Nothing fancy here for the Knights.
If you're Coach Kraft, you're more than happy to run the ball, give Eatman plenty of TV time as you see him there. 7.6 yards per carry tonight. They'd be perfectly fine if he carried the ball about 10 or 11 more times and they could chew some clock here in the fourth quarter.
And if you talk to the folks at IC Catholic Prep, they will tell you that Eric Eatman is a man of character, and that is one of the basic tenets here in the IC program. They will go to the air and complete for a first down inside the 40-yard line. Completion got to Khalil Saunders.
They had Pleasant Plains on their heels, and that's an easy pitch and catch from the third string quarterback to the second string quarterback, who moved back to wide receiver after that foot injury. He came back. They had made their decision to stick with C.J. West, and that's worked out just fine. They wanted to get Saunders the ball on the outside and let him do his work out there. He's such a great athlete.
He's caught his 4th ball of the night. He takes it inside the 40-yard line. Now C.J. West staring right at that play clock, letting it wind down here to 5 seconds. Now 4, and he'll take the snap. Eatman getting great blocking. Not yet touched. Now you can see the fatigue right now in the Plains defense. 9 yards before Eatman had a hand on him. And another first down here for the Knights.
Dylan Packer creating space for Eatman, as well as Keemon Reese, the fullback. Eatman able to get the first down. But the clock here is your friend. You want to try and stay in bounds if you're Eatman. I'm sure he'll get talked to about that from the sideline. Hey, we got to choose some clock here. Stay in bounds if you can.
Eatman with his third 200-yard game in the playoffs. Out of 5 games, 209 tonight, and he will add to it there. You know, don't forget, coming up on NBC Sports Chicago Plus, our 4A championship game That will be an intriguing ball game. You got defending champion Rochester. They've won 6 of the last 7 4A titles. Of course, you know their game. They play fast. They play in the air. They move it along against the Morris Redskins. Morris coming into this game, the huge offensive line. It will be, we want to play slow. No, we want to play fast. No, we want to play slow, fast. It will be an intriguing game to watch.
It's going to be a very interesting game with two contrasting styles on offense. Really looking forward to that one next.
Once again, that play clock just ticking down. We're under 8 minutes to play in this game. Eatman through. And a touchdown saving tackle. That tackle made by Sam McAfee. And in fact, that's the second time McAfee has made a tackle to deny Eatman a touchdown run.
Let's talk about those big guys up front for IC Catholic. Ryan Kennelly, also Dylan Packer, Ricky Mislewick, David Vargas, and the other offensive tackle, Kevin Akins. They've done a great job of creating holes for Eatman to run through tonight. And you've seen it here in the fourth quarter. He's been able to get 7 or 8 yards before he's even been touched.
Reese is in the backfield once again. He'll lead the way through the hole. Moves 3 people out of the way and sets up Eatman for his 4th touchdown run of the night. It comes with 7:24 to play in the game, and the lead has gone to 34-0. That rushing touchdown by Eatman ties Mark Cotter back in 1999 for the 3A championship game record.
It has been a special night for Lazarick Eatman. As you see here, he just bulldozes his way to the goal line. This is going to be a night that senior won't forget. What a way to go out. 4 touchdowns on the night so far. And IC Catholic about to go up 35-0 with an extra point.
Ball down, ball up and through. And with that, the defending state champions 35, Pleasant Plains nothing, and Lazarick Eatman has done it all night long. If you want to go out, you want to go out in a big way. Is senior Lazarick Eatman. 4 touchdowns tonight, over 200 yards rushing, no doubt about it. He's our Country Financial player of the game. 24 carries, 237 yards, about 10 yards per carry. He has scored 4 times, and he has put on a show here in the second half.
The majority of that has been in the second half. I mean, he's just been so dynamic, doing it inside and outside for this IC Catholic offense.
Seen him move to the outside, the cuts, he'll bounce off a few people, and he's also played some defense tonight. It was a 6-0 game at halftime. You know, and I go back to the word patience. We talked about Nick Sampson. The coaches talked about Nick Sampson and his patience.
Come on.
How about the patience of IC Catholic just to wait for Eatman and the offensive line to get things cooking?
And man, they really did in the second half. I mean, this has been a total turnaround for IC Catholic. You know, nothing has really changed for Pleasant Plains. They've still played a very good ball game on defense. It just seems like the offensive line for IC Catholic has just overpowered them in the second half.
That time of possession in the first half, well, that is completely flipped in terms of the fatigue for the Plains defense. Defensively in the first half, they were only on the field less than 8 minutes. And now here in the second half, it has been 3 and out on the offensive side. Sampson will get a couple. Dance inside of Misselwick and Reese. Johnson there, but the tackle will be credited to Kevin Cook. Last year it was 43-0. That was the win over Carlinville, and coincidentally, Carlinville fell to Plains in overtime in the quarterfinals. So not that snap coming in and out of the huddle right now for Plains. Understandable. And that defensive line now clogging up the interior. Sampson not too happy. Those holes that he saw in the first half, not there here in these last 2 quarters.
Just frustration on the face of Nick Sampson. The senior wants to try and get going like he did in the first half, but he just can't because of that big front four for IC Catholic. And those linebackers are able to come up and stuff those holes because those front four are doing such a good job of taking on blockers at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it seems like we have been in 3rd and long the entire second half for the Pleasant Plain Cardinals. Reiner picked off. Saunders with the interception. Khalil Saunders across midfield. And Saunders will give IC Catholic great field position. The second interception of the night for Ben Reiner.
Reiner just trying to make a play on 3rd and long, has to force the ball into a very small window, and Saunders is all over it. Looking to take that one all the way back to the house, but Ely comes up with a big tackle. Nice job by Saunders to step in front of that ball and make a big play for the IC Catholic defense.
CJ West will come onto the field, but after this play, I want to make another comment. Not sure what the chain is. I've seen
it looks
that.
like they've taken that from the University of Miami.
Okay.
Looks like IC Catholic has their own turnover chain.
All right. I didn't know that there would be copycats out here at high school football, but we'll take it. Nick Sampson still fighting in there. He gets that tackle. He got the tackle. New man into the backfield. That's Dan Gibbons for IC Catholic. Now, the point I want to make is CJ West is the quarterback, but you saw in warmups that Luke Rickabine was fully dressed. He had a towel, you know, the quarterback towel at his waist, and some thought maybe if there would be a situation where Rickabine could take a snap, and we may be getting close to something like that. Once again, the handoff will go to Gibbons.
There he is right there, Luke Rickabine, ready to go, suited up.
All he has to do is buckle that chin strap, right?
And look at who he's standing next to. Standing next to all the coaches, and he even got a little bit of a cheer from the sidelines when we just showed him on the big board there. It looks like he's ready if they need him. Listen to the crowd, man. That's awesome. He was such an incredible player for 3 years for IC Catholic. His senior season cut short by injury, but man, he's been a part of this team ever since. Never missed a practice, and if he gets in to maybe take a knee for IC here at the end, what a moment that would be for him.
Kyle Franklin, freshman into the game. He will take over for Eatman next year. And he makes some moves that resemble number 22, Lazarick Eatman. This is the freshman, though, Kyle Franklin. So all those folks that have IC Catholic on the schedule next year will get a pretty good look at this.
Turn on the film, they look very similar, man. They get to the outside and they can run.
9 yards on the carry for Franklin. He averages 10.5 per carry this season. Coming up on 3.5 minutes to play. Using every bit, once again, of that play clock. And they take the timeout? They did. Took the timeout just as that clock hit 1 second. So we have 3:21 to play in this 3A championship game. Remember the 4A title game coming up next. That will be Morris going up against Rochester. Rochester with 6 state championships in the last 7 years. Morris has been a familiar player in the state title games. It's the 11th time the Redskins will have played in a championship ball game. Well, we had some beautiful games earlier today. How about Lewin in 1A, 21-20 over Tuscola, an extra point miss or mishandled snap, the difference. And then just an unbelievable game in 2A. Gibson City, Melvin Sibley 38, Maroa Forsyth 32, 7 lead changes. in that ball game. Tomorrow we do it all over again, 5A through 8A. There's Rickabeen. I don't know, Chris.
He's chomping at the bit. He wants in there, Coach.
I think he has to stand next to his head coach somewhere.
I'm sure there's mom and dad in the stand somewhere saying, please don't. Who knows what could go wrong? Let's just let him enjoy this moment from the sideline.
ACL injury in week number 2. He had started every game since his freshman year. 7,000 yards of offense and 82 touchdowns. And he came to every single practice this year. In fact, he came to an IC practice the day of his surgery. And a first down and power running straight ahead from Dan Gibbons. Well, in fact, coaches for IC Catholic carved a space in the table to watch film, to practice, to plan for practices and game plan for games. All right, somebody's buckling his chin strap, Chris.
This is going to be a great moment. This is going to be awesome.
Listen to the crowd here. Luke Rickabeen. He will miss the basketball season, but he's going to get a snap in a state championship football game.
Looks like they're going to take a delay game. They'll be more than happy to do that.
Can you imagine what that young man feels right now? I mean, this was his team. In fact, they still say this is Luke's team.
You pour your heart and soul into your senior season to want to get back and win back-to-back state championships, and it's cut short by an injury like that. Your entire high school athletic career over after an ACL injury like that, and he's going to put that knee to the ground a couple of times and clinch another state title for IC Catholic. I mean, what a moment this is. Good for him, good for this team. I mean, congratulations to IC, but take nothing away from Pleasant Plains and the year that they have had. What a run by these Cardinals to get through a tough Southern bracket in 3A, get all the way here as a 16 seed, and play with IC Catholic for basically 3.5 quarters.
Well, how about a team? Rickabeen will officially take that next step and ever so gingerly put that knee to the ground.
Maybe you should try and put the other knee to the ground next time. I mean, he's having a little bit of trouble with that one.
All right, well, we know what's coming with that jug. But how about Pleasant Plains? A team that finished 4th in their conference. A team that was 3-6 last year, did not even make the playoffs. They are the lowest seeded team in the Southern bracket. You can't get any lower than a 16 seed in a 1 through 16 bracket, and they just absolutely marched their way. They had this as a 6-0 game at the half against the defending state champs.
Give a lot of credit to that senior-led offense of Nick Sampson and Ben Reinert and those guys. I mean, just gave it their all tonight. But IC Catholic, just too much to handle. Too fast, too physical. What a night by Eatman. Well-coached game by Bill Kreft and his offensive and defensive coaches. An all-around great win for the Knights.
There'll be one more snap here on 4th down. You saw Luke Rickabeen saying, hey, you want me to do it again? Yes. Great credit to Plains as well. They know what the story is there with Luke Rickabeen. And listen to the hand that Rickabeen and the Knights will get. All week, I'm sure this was part of the plan. But the plan was we have to have a big lead. And that was definitely in jeopardy until we hit the 3rd quarter, until we hit midway through the 3rd quarter. It was 6-0 midway through the 3rd period.
Give a lot of credit to the man right in front of him, CJ West, for stepping in and playing quarterback so well for this team in the absence of Luke Rickabeen. I mean, it's just been an all-around team win for IC Catholic as you see all of them huddled around their senior captain.
Well, West has that touchdown run, but also in the air, 9 of 11 for 110 yards. That's getting it done.
He had a great game.
Now with under a minute to play, Plains still looking to put a point on the scoreboard. Carlberg. There just has not been room there in the second half. Headset is off. Bill Kraft. He won a state championship as a player. He won one as an assistant coach. He picked one up last year as a head coach. And now the smile that we did not see until here, just this very moment.
We didn't see that at halftime. 6-0 lead. When we talked to him at halftime, we did not see that smile. But now he knows that this one's in the books.
In fact, we will not have another snap, but it will be a wet night for the head coach for the Knights. IC Catholic Prep goes back-to-back. Double shutouts last year, 43-0 over Carlinville. Tonight, it's a 35-0 win over Pleasant Plains. And this is one of those games you will pick up the stat sheet later. You will see the big numbers from Lazarick Eatman, the very efficient numbers from CJ West. You'll see the final score, but you won't see what this game was really about.
You won't, because this game was a one-score game midway through the third quarter, and Pleasant Plains had IC Catholic right where they wanted them, and then Lazarick Eatman just went off. I mean, nothing that any of us even would have expected after the way they played in the first half. I mean, we knew he had it in him, but you thought that Pleasant Plains was going to be able to bottle him up all night, and sure enough, he took this game into his own hands and just flipped it on its head with some huge runs for the Knights.
A 14-0 season last year, 13-1 this year. The only loss coming in week 2, a 3-point loss to St. Lawrence. That was the game that Rickabeen got hurt. And after that, the Knights ran the table. Lazarick Eatman tonight finishes with 237 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns. Remember, last year was Jordan Rowell. Well, Lazarick Eatman has put his stamp on the 2017 3A state champions. Pleasant Plains walking on the other side of the field, but let's go back to IC Catholic and Cameron.
All right, guys, I'm standing here with a very drenched Coach Bill Kraft. And Coach, another state championship under your reign here for IC Catholic and back-to-back state champions as well. How much did this season mean to you guys, especially with the adversity you faced with Luke going down early in the season?
I mean, I just love our kids. Our kids took over this season. You know, I love to tell you it was like this great coaching situation. Our kids are resilient. Our kids faced adversity and overcame. Even in the locker room at halftime, we talked about, like, hey, we're up against it, man. We got another good team on us. They've got our backs against the wall. It's going to be what you want. How do you respond to it? And, you know, just credit to those guys. They just kind of take over. They're so tight. They're such a family. It's just awesome. I am honored to be a part of it.
And you said that the common denominator on the championship teams that you've played for at this school and also that you've coached is that everyone loves to be around each other and they love the process. Was that evident with this team early on, especially during the summer months?
Absolutely. You know, they say they're a brotherhood, and I just think they are in the truest sense of the word. They have each other's backs, always looking out for each other. When something's not going good for somebody, they pick them up. They're just a great set of kids to be around, and they've been running the program for 2 years now, so we're lucky enough to be here because of them.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time, and we'll let you dry off as well. All right, let's bring in Lazarick Eatman, who was dynamic in so many different ways for the Knights of IC Catholic. And Lazarick, a career day for you and tying a 3A record when it comes to rushing touchdowns, 4 touchdowns on the evening for you. What did you see out there that allowed you to be so successful, especially in that third quarter where you just went off?
It was definitely our offensive line, our offensive coordinator. Our offensive line have been giving me a push all year, and all I do is just follow them, make one cut, and go. Thanks to the offensive line.
All right, now we heard Coach Kraft say that during halftime, he said, hey, it's up to you guys what you want to do with the rest of this ball game. What was the message amongst the team? What did you guys say to each other to really just have that second half explosion to win this game 35-0?
Usually we are scoring like 30 points a half, and last 2 weeks has been a kind of drought for us on the offense. There was only 6-0, so we were kind of down on ourselves, but we have to realize that we were actually winning the game. So we didn't let that stop us, and we just turned it up.
All Matt, what does it mean for you to be a back-to-back state champion to finish off your high school career at IC Catholic?
It means a lot. I went out the right way, you know. I'll probably be crying right now, but I did it the right way, so I can't be anything but happy right now.
All right, holding in those tears, Lazarick Eatman, our player of the game. Outstanding job for this young man. 24 carries, 237 yards, and 4 touchdowns. We'll be back with more from Husky Stadium on the campus of Northern Illinois. The Knights are 3A state champions back-to-back years for Bill Kreff's team.
35-0 win for IC Catholic in your 3A championship ball game over Pleasant Plains. Now it's time for our trophy presentations that are brought to you by Menards. Pleasant Plains will get their medals and trophy first. The Cardinals finishing with a 10-4 mark. They had an 8-game winning streak snapped after they started the season, having lost 3 of their first 5 ball games, but there was not much they could do tonight against the second half of IC Catholic, the way a lot of folks, I think, thought this whole game could go. 29 points in the second half for the Knights. Lazarick Eatman had 168 of his 237 yards rushing. We've talked about that a lot, but how about this? The defense for IC allowing no first downs.
Give a lot of credits to the IC Catholic defense and also the entire coaching staff for the Knights that made some serious second half adjustments in the locker room at halftime. This was only a 6-0 ball game, and Pleasant Plains was playing really well. And then IC Catholic just exploded in the second half to get their second straight state championship trophy.
Pleasant Plains has 2 baseball state championships. They have won 2 basketball state titles. One of the goals was for Brody Walworth is let's make the folks in that area of the state take notice of our football program. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, mission accomplished here. You have had the run through the playoffs, and you had an amazing first half before the depth and the strength of IC Catholic took over in the second half.
That's the kind of run that Coach Walworth can build off of and really build a program, a powerhouse down there around Springfield. Pleasant Plains has a lot to look forward to in the coming years.
For IC Catholic, Bill Kreff picking up his 55th win against just 16 losses. 27 of those victories have come in the last 2 years here in Illinois, as they have maxed out 2 state championships, 2 shutouts. And he admitted last year's playoff experience was so valuable because his team didn't feel the pressure of the big games this year. I got to believe at halftime there were a few tight stomachs in that locker room, though.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you got to be nervous when you're playing a good team like Pleasant Plains and you're only up 6-0. But they made the adjustments they needed to make, and they came out firing on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams in the second half, and really just dominated the game from start to finish in the second half.
It is the 4th state championship going to the Knights. They have now a trophy in just a matter of moments that will match the one from last year, and also ones from 2002 and 2008. They're your 3A state champions. They hail from Elmhurst. IC Catholic Prep, the Knights, capping off a 13-1 season with the 35-0 win over Pleasant Plains here tonight in DeKalb. And of course, 3A action may be completed, but we have one more ball game to go, and it will match defending state champs in 4A, the Rochester Rockets. They'll be taking on the Morris Redskins, making their 11th appearance in a state championship ball game. It will be a contrast of styles in 4A. This may have been a contrast in styles in terms of offense, defense, one half to the next half. But in the end, Lazarick Eatman's Knights go the distance offensively and defensively, claiming their second straight state championship.